In the future, humanity has reached the stars. New planets, new colonies, new resources, and new ways for the powerful to do exactly what they've always done to the powerless. Exploit them, experiment on them, and then when things go wrong, blame them. Welcome to the planet Osiris, a terraformed world run by a military corporation called Exor, where prisoners are used as slave labor to strip the planet of everything it's worth, and where those same prisoners have been secretly turned into something that was never supposed to escape, until it did. The Osiris Child Science Fiction Volume 1 is a 2016 Australian sci-fi film directed by Shane Abbas, and it is one of the most genuinely underrated genre films of the last decade. Shot on location in the scorching outback of South Australia, specifically in Coober Pedy, one of the most alien-looking places on Earth, the film uses its modest budget with remarkable ingenuity, practical creature effects, real desert landscapes, grounded performances. The result is something that feels far bigger than its budget suggests. Think Star Wars for its scope. Think Mad Max for its terrain. Think Alien for its corporate horror. And then imagine all three compressed into a lean, urgent, 5-minute race against a ticking clock. Let's break it down. The story takes place in a future of interplanetary colonization. Humanity has spread across the stars not through exploration and wonder, but through corporate extraction. The company doing most of the extracting is Exor, a military contractor that terraforms planets, strips them of resources, and uses convicted prisoners as slave labor to do the dirty work. Above one such planet, a colony world called Osiris floats Exor's command station, and aboard that station is our first protagonist. Lieutenant Kane Somerville, played by Daniel McPherson, is a former military pilot, now working for Exor as a lieutenant in their infrastructure operation. Kane has baggage. He was once a decorated combat commander, until an incident during a battle left his entire unit dead. His daughter Indy, played by a young Tegan Croft, is visiting him on the planet's surface, 11 years old, sharp, brave, staying with a family friend in the colony's capital city while her father works shifts on the station above. Now meet the second man. Cy Lombrock, played by Kellen Lutz, is a former nurse turned convicted criminal, now a prisoner doing forced labor in Exor's ground facility on Osiris. Cy is quiet, tough, carries his past like a wound that never healed. We'll learn what that wound is. It changes everything. Here is where the film's engine ignites. Up on the command station, General Linex, played with cold authority by Rachel Griffiths, makes an announcement to her officers. The prisoners have rioted. They've seized control of the facility. They're threatening to detonate the nuclear reactor. The planet must be evacuated immediately. All transports from the surface. Locked down. 24 hours until the reactor is blown. Everyone on that planet, every colonist, every civilian will be left to die. But one of Kane's fellow officers pulls him aside and tells him the truth. There was no riot. What Exor has been doing in secret in those prison labs, with those convict bodies, is genetically engineering creatures. Monsters, built from human DNA, warped and weaponized, designed to exterminate the native life on planets so Exor can colonize without resistance. The creatures have broken free. They are now loose across the planet's surface, moving toward Osiris City. And General Linex isn't evacuating the planet to protect people. She's detonating the reactor to destroy the evidence. The prisoners, the experiments, all of it, gone. And in the aftermath, Exor will blame everything on the convicts. A prison riot, a hostage situation. No accountability. Kane's daughter is in Osiris City. He doesn't hesitate for a second. He steals a shuttle and dives toward the surface. Exor's forces shoot Kane down before he clears the atmosphere. His shuttle crashes hard in the desert wasteland outside the city. And when Kane drags himself out of the wreckage, there is already someone watching him. Cy Lombrock, one of the escaped prisoners. Kane's instinct is military suspicion. Cy's instinct is everything he's been taught to distrust about men in Exor uniforms. But Kane has something Cy needs access to, a survival bunker he built on the planet for emergencies. The terrain, the creatures, and the brutal truth of what Exor has been doing on this planet. A deal is struck. Not friendship, not trust, Just two men who need each other to survive long enough to do the things that matter to them most. For Cain, rescue his daughter. For Sai, something we don't fully understand yet. The flashbacks are coming. Cain and Sai can't make it to Osiris City on foot. The creatures are already hunting across the open desert. And Exor patrols are sweeping the terrain not to protect anyone, but to make sure no witnesses survive to tell the truth. At a smuggler outpost at the edge of the wasteland, they find their ride. Jip, played by Isabel Lucas, and her stepbrother Bill, played by Luke Ford. A pair of rough, practical survivors who used to work as drivers for Exor's prison network. They know what Exor is. They have no illusions. They also have a reinforced bus and working weapons. The deal: Cain and Sai pay them, arm them, and promise them a place in the bunker. 4 people in an armored bus, a city full of engineered monsters between them and a little girl, a nuclear countdown ticking above them. The film's second act is this road across the wasteland, and it uses every inch of that South Australian landscape to create something that feels genuinely dangerous. The creatures, when they appear, are terrifying in the most practical way. Not CGI spectacle, but physical, practical, close. And in the spaces between action beats, the flashbacks begin to fill in Sai's past. Here is what we learn about Sai Lombrock in pieces. Across the film's running time, he was a nurse. Not a soldier, not a criminal by nature, a medical professional who dedicated his life to caring for people. He had someone he loved, and Exor took them from him. The corporation's reach extends everywhere into prisons, into courts, into the systems that decide who gets labeled dangerous and who gets protected. Sai was labeled dangerous, not because of what he did, because of what he knew, because of what they needed him to stop knowing. He didn't agree to help Cain out of altruism. He agreed because somewhere in that city and the chaos Exor created there is something he needs to make right. The group reaches Osiris City. The creatures are already inside, moving through the streets in packs, hunting everything that breathes. Cain finds Indy, but getting out costs everything. Bill and Jip don't make it. Taken by Exor's own drones, the corporation cutting loose ends even as the planet burns. Cain doesn't make it either. He gets Indy to the bunker door. He makes sure she's through, and then he's gone. Sai makes it to the bunker, but not unscathed. In the chaos, a creature catches him a whip-like strike from one of the engineered monsters. Its venom enters his bloodstream. He knows what that means. He helped assist in the prison experiments that created these things. He knows exactly what is coming. He is going to transform. The reactor detonates above the planet, and Exor releases its official statement. The disaster was caused by rioting prisoners who sabotaged the power systems. Everything Exor did wiped clean. Everyone it killed blamed on the people it killed. 1 year later, 2 Exor personnel in radiation suits approach the bunker, following a tracking signal. The bunker door opens. Indy steps out, and beside her, not the man who crawled into that bunker, but something that used to be a man. Sai Lombrock, transformed, not a mindless killing machine. Because, and this is the detail the film holds until the very end, the thing the DNA engineers never accounted for was that the experimental batch used to create the creatures came from prisoners. Sai wasn't a violent man. He wasn't a monster by nature. And so the creature he became isn't a monster either. He's still Sai, just different. Indy never gave up on him, and he is still there. The two of them overpower the Exor agents. Indy demands with 11-year-old steel in her voice that they be taken off the planet. And they are. The Osiris Child is a film about what corporations do when profit matters more than people. It is a film about who gets blamed when the powerful make catastrophic mistakes. It is a film about 2 men society discarded, one through shame, one through injustice, choosing to be better than the systems that broke them. And it is perhaps most quietly a film about the title itself. The ancient Egyptian god Osiris was Lord of the Dead, the judge of souls, the one who decided not based on status or power, but on the weight of a person's heart. Sai is the Osiris Child, judged not by what he was convicted of, not by what he became, but by what lived inside him when everything else was stripped away. A good man in a monster's body, still choosing to protect a little girl who never stopped believing in him. The Osiris Child, 2016. Australian. Underrated. Brilliant. Drop a comment. Did you know this film existed before today? Like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.